I'm just, I'm just taking over everything. I feel like I'm never.
I do too. How are you? Thanks for inviting.
Yeah, except now I'm Good.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Jim Rollins, will you lead us in our invocation, please?
Gracious Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for being in your house as fellowship, fellow Rotarians. We give you your thanks for the food that you prepared. We ask that you will help us nurture and develop and become more and more worthy of your praise and your benefits and your blessings. We ask these things in Jesus' name.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, can you see by the dawn's early light what surrounding we have, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the fair were so gallantly free, and the rockets rang there, the guns were still, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you. Please be seated. Great job. This is Nicole's second week playing the piano for us. I know she doesn't like to call out on it. Thank you very much, Nicole. Courtney, will you introduce our guest, please?
We have Christina Young has been with us with Kelly Farmers that she has put in her application, and so we're so excited. And then I'll let Donnie introduce Ms. Toastmasters as the new guest. Because we don't want to get nervous.
I'll go ahead and introduce them while we're here. I'll do the short version, but with us today we have from Tyler Morning Toastmaster, we have Melanie Wick, and then also Michael Brown with her, and then our other two speakers from Tyler Evening Toastmasters, that's a pretty important high on up there. We got some Dwayne Wyatt, and we've got Kelly McMaster.
Thank you, Miss.
Oh, that's right.
Thank you very much. And we also have a visiting Rotarian, David Jones, with us today. Bill Coates. You have a sports moment for us? Thank you.
Something a little different today. The Olympics begin next month, a year late, in Tokyo, Japan. Summer Olympics. Tyler does not have a long, storied history of the Olympics. We all obviously know that great football players come through here, and some baseball players currently active in the major leagues. We've had some outstanding athletes in East Texas. We don't have much of a history of the Olympics, but this year might be different. In 1972, a kid named Robert Taylor went to Scott, the old Scott High School, the all-black high school attire, was a silver medalist in the 100-meter dash in the 1972 Munich Olympics. Those were the Olympics that were overshadowed by the terrorist attack on the Israeli Olympic Village that resulted in the death of all 9 of them and several terrorists, which totally overshadowed everything else that went on in those Olympics for obvious reasons. In 1976, a kid that I went to school with at John Tyler, a kid named Brad Simmons. Some of you guys have been around here a long time, not remember Brad. He's a year older than me. He was a skeet shooter, and he made the U.S. Olympic team. The story goes that he was aggravating to go hunting with because you were dove hunting at 15 dove, wherever the limit was. If they flew over, then it was, his hunt was over as quickly as he could fire however many shots out of the shotgun. But he made the Olympic team, and not medal, but just to get to the Olympics is amazing. This year, though, we could have 2. There's a kid named Mackenzie Brown, a girl we went to, I think, Brookhill. She's from Bullard. She is our best recurve archer on the U.S. Women's Olympic team. She was at the London Games 4 years ago, did not medal, but she is, is still there and will make the Olympic team, I think, barring something happening at the trials that, if she had a bad day, I guess she doesn't have, there's no guarantee, but she's probably the best one we have. There's another kid who went to Robert E. Lee as recently as 2 years ago. His name is Branson Ellis. Some of you may know the name. Branson is a pole vaulter. It's a skill that I understand the best pole vaulting school in maybe the country, but certainly in Texas, is just down the road in Jacksonville. There's a couple of former Olympic pole vaulters. The coaching is right down the street. One of them happens to be the head coach at SFA. 2 weeks ago, Branson, he won the state meet here when he was in Lee, obviously. And then he went on 2 weeks ago and won the NCAA Outdoor Championships for SFA. The finals of the men's Olympic pole vault at the Olympic trials in Eugene, Oregon, which is the home of American track and field, going on this weekend, we had caught some of it on television. The pole vault trial was Saturday. I think he started about 5:30 our time. I think he's got the second, I think the top 3 qualified, and I think he's number 2. His winning vault at the Olympics was like 1880 or something like that, which is just incredible to sit here and think somebody can make a pole and clear that, I guess, right? Is that kind of what it would be like, something like that? To be able to think that some kid could actually do that, would have the nerve to do it, first of all. But this kid is very, very good, so when the Olympics come around, hopefully not going to qualify and have a title kid in the Olympics too, possibly, too, from the area. Mackenzie Brown, McKinney Branson, Ellis from Robert E. Lee, our legacy master. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Beth, if you'd like to come on up, and David, do you want to come up so you can announce the Airfest? While they're on their way up, I just want to remind you guys of 2 things happening. Today is the last day to register for the district officer installation that's scheduled this Saturday in Canton. The link is on the bulletin that came out yesterday, so today was the deadline because they have to turn in the head count. And if you've not had a chance to attend an international convention, now is your chance to go. Next June 2022, the international convention is going to be in Houston. We're really encouraging people to go ahead and sign up now. I think it's $495 to sign up now, and you need to go ahead and book your hotel room. This event will sell out. They're expecting about 50,000 people from across the country, across the world to come in for this. So it's in our backyard. The next year is in Australia, so this gives me a chance to find out if I want to go to Australia. Of course I want to go to Australia, but you know. So I'm going to ask Beth to come up and talk about an upcoming event.
So many things that we didn't get to do last year because of COVID that we're getting to do again, and one of my very favorites to participate in is Literacy Council of Tyler's Corporate Spelling Bee. It's a high-energy, really fun event. South Tyler Rotary supports them with a $1,000 sponsorship. So we get a table and we get to enter 2 spellers. So Dalton has been a speller in the past, but the Chick-fil-A team has stolen him.
What?
And I was a speller in the past, but I'm definitely ready to let someone else have a turn at that. The theme this year is movies. So we need to pick a movie that we want as our theme, and then fill our table and dress according to whatever movie that we pick. So it is Tuesday, August the 3rd at 11:30 at Green Acres Crosswalk. If you're interested in sitting at the table with us, or if you're interested in spelling, please send me an email or call me or text me or whatever. And I think we're going to have a really fun event.
Thank you, Beth.
I'm definitely not a speller, so don't worry about me lying. I was always, you know how you used to do in school, they lined you up on this side of the wall, this side. I always went down quickly. And sometimes I spell cat, D-O-G, just to get set out. So I have a sign-up sheet I've shared with Beth and with Diane for the air show on Friday, the 2nd of July. It's a benefit for Camp D here in town. We have 26 warbirds coming into Tyler, and they'll be on display during the day. And then in the evening of the 2nd, at 6:30 in the evening, they'll do an air show. And this also includes the F-16 group. So I think it'll be an exciting time. And then I think, later on, they'll do another air show over Cedar Creek Lake, and for the weekend. But they'll also be giving flying opportunities. So if you ever want to fly in a B-17, just bring your wallet. And be happy to let you fly on one of the big planes. I think every time they crank up one of those engines, it costs about $50 worth of gas. So it is rather expensive to fly one of those birds. But we'd love to have a lot of volunteers from Rotary, wear your Rotary gear, and be able to promote our 4-way test of serving our community. It'd be a good opportunity and great PR for your club.
So you'll send the sign-up sheet around?
Sign-up sheet, I can send it around, and it is rather lengthy. They just need 99 people to help. Anyway, so
Thank you, David. And as we learn in a lot of the stuff that we do, when we're waiting on other people, sometimes you wait and you wait and you wait. And David said he's surprised he hasn't been here left because we're 2 weeks from the event and he's just now getting the sign-up sheet from them for us to start sending around. So we know Rotary can do it. We know the 3 Rotary clubs are going to be providing volunteers, so please sign up if you have the time on Friday, July 2nd. Last announcement I have before we start our program is just remind you guys that this is my next to last meeting as your president. Yay, no cheers from me. I'm so excited. I would be a little sad if you guys jumped up and down and said, yay, she's done. So next Monday, we're going to be here. We're going to have a lot more people. We're expecting close to 75 folks. That's Rotary people, Rotary members. Yes, my husband John, who knows a lot of these folks in the front table, will be here, along with our service award winners and some of their family members. So just to remind you, the meal starts at 11:30. We're starting a half hour earlier than usual, so you can start right around 11:15. We're having Zoe's Kitchen, which is kebabs and rice and some other things, and then we're going to have sister-to-sister cookies. Beth lined all that stuff up for us. It should be a good celebration. We'll be celebrating the end of my year. We'll be recognizing the board. We'll be handing out Rotarian of the Year and Newcomer of the Year. And then I get to pass the gavel over to Beth as she takes over for next year. So we really hope you can all come out for it. We planned for about 75 people, so there's going to be a lot of people here to try to get here early. Any questions about next Monday? Oh, the cost is $15 instead of $10. All right. Colleen, would you like to come on up and introduce John?
Okay, so because it is Diane's last official Rotary, let's all give her a big round of applause. She's done an amazing job. Amazing job, a crazy year. None of us would have expected anything that went on. So in light of thinking about that, I really wanted us to have a different program today, something we haven't seen before. So I was kind of brainstorming with Johnny a little bit. And I said, you know what, I know there's this really cool group of Toastmasters that does comedy speeches. So I'm super, super excited today. Johnny was able to make all this happen for us, so Diane is going out with a bang and with a lot of fun in our last program. So sit back, relax, and I'm going to turn it over to Johnny to introduce our exciting lineup today. You're in for a real treat.
Thank you. Please take your seats. Yeah, I appreciate everyone being here today. I was really excited when Kobe reached out to me to be able to do this because, especially with everything going on, you understand that if we need anything more than right now is a little bit of laughter, a little bit of fun. I like having fun. Who doesn't like that fun, right? And so when you start to understand, I know, the chemicals, right? Serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine, endorphins. Some of the book I read says laughter doeth good like a medicine. So today we're going to hear from some awesome speakers. I'm going to go ahead and get out of the way because I'm really just an amateur at this. We're going to have some what's called distinguished Toastmasters come up. Only the best for Top Tower Rotary, right? So Toastmasters has been around for a long time. If you were here for that presentation, I'm not going to go into it. But there's 3 clubs specifically, actually more, but these are the 3 open clubs. Tyler Morning meets over at Happy's Fish House. The noon, Tyler Rose City Toastmasters. Then you got Tyler Evening Toastmasters, which, not my personal opinion, I've heard they're probably one of the greatest Toastmasters clubs, but that's just what I think. But up first, we have this Melanie Wick. She joined Toastmasters, Tyler Morning Toastmasters in January 2014. She enjoys meeting with her fellow Toastmasters each week, especially since they meet for breakfast at Happy's Fish House. If I haven't had Happy's Fish on breakfast, you're missing out. She's made many friends, learned much about public speaking, gained valuable leadership skills, and improved her ability to listen. Please welcome distinguished Toastmaster Melanie Wick.
What are you afraid of? You can't hear it, you can't see it, but we all feel it from time to time. Me, I'm afraid of snakes. You should have seen me the day that I walked out the back door of my office, and there it was. It wasn't even big, maybe 8 inches long, definitely not venomous, but there it was. slithering along the sidewalk. And even though you might not be able to see and hear fear, you probably could have that day while I was screaming, jumping, and hoping someone would come and scare it away. I'm only afraid of 3 types of snakes: venomous snakes, non-venomous snakes, and sticks, of course. And it really doesn't make sense. So many people are more afraid of speaking in public than they are of snakes. I can't imagine if you're walking through the jungle and you look up at a tree and you go, oh my goodness, a pony. I would be worried about snakes. Mark Twain once said there are 2 types of speakers: ones that admit they're nervous about speaking, and liars. We can all feel it. That feeling that you get sweaty, you're nervous, your heart's beating faster, maybe you have chest pain or tightness, you feel those butterflies in your stomach. What can we do about it? Well, we can practice. And one of the things that helps us do that is Toastmasters International. It's a nonprofit organization started in 1924. It teaches public speaking, listening skills, and helps with leadership development. It's a worldwide network of clubs. It's headquartered in Inglewood, Colorado, but there are more than 364,000 Toastmasters members. There's more than 16,200 clubs, and Toastmasters clubs exist in 145 countries. Dues for Toastmasters is about $2 to $3 a weekly meeting, less than $100 a year. What could you do as a Toastmaster? Improve your skill for speaking, leadership, build relationship with peers in business, and work on some of those interpersonal relationships, learning those listening skills and other qualities. According to a speech that Jerry Seinfeld gave, most people are more afraid of speaking than they are of death. So if you go to a funeral, the poor person who's no longer there is probably feeling a little more comfortable than the person giving the eulogy. A good speech should be like a comet, dazzling, eye-opening, and over before you know it. Mark Twain said, I can never make a good impromptu speech without several hours to prepare for it. Words to leave you with. Dale Carnegie said, there are always 3 speeches that you give. The one you gave, the one you practiced, and the one you wish you'd given.
Thank you so much, Melanie. From what I understand, in the history of public speaking, of all the millions of speeches that have been made, it's on record that only 3 people have actually died. So your odds are pretty good. We'll start checking it out. It's like 0.0002999% chance you'll die. So the odds are pretty good. So come join us, be part of us. Up next, I have Miss Kelly McMaster from Tyler Evening Toastmaster. I'm going to go ahead and follow her around to get out of what she's in.
I have things.
Oh, promise. Awesome.
Okay. Oh, hi.
That's part of it. Okay. Awesome. Well, please welcome Miss Kelly McMaster.
Oh, Kelly. Can you hear me in the back?
Yes.
I'm a small girl with a big voice. A couple of years ago, my company decided to have a step challenge. For those of you who don't know what a step challenge is, you sync your watch to an app and it counts your steps. And whoever has the most steps wins. I thought to myself, I can do this. I can win. So off I went. I marched around the office, which meant I wasn't working. I marched around my neighborhood. And by the first week, I had gotten 70,000 steps, 10,000 a day. And when I looked at the app, I was 12. What? 12? I've been doing 10,000 steps a day. It's ridiculous. So I cornered one of my coworkers, we're going to call him Jack, and asked him, how are you getting so many steps a day? And he said, I run. What? Run? I hate running. I despise it. It's horrible. But I like winning. So I thought to myself, if I'm going to win this challenge, I got to run. So I did the one thing all Americans do. I consulted the great oracle Google. And I asked Google about running. And Google gave me some advice. There's a few things you need. The first is a running outfit. One without seams that doesn't shake. So I bought myself a running outfit. I could be seen by cars and from outer space. The second thing you needed were shoes. Running shoes were the most important item you needed. I tried on shoes, I ran shoes, and ladies and gentlemen, I bought shoes. Lots of shoes. And you know what happened? Nothing. I didn't run faster or better. What makes you run faster and better, I know this is going to be hard to believe, is running. So off I go. I'd run a block, I'd keel over, and then I'd run another block. But over time I got better, and I started to shrink the gap on Jack, because I needed to beat Jack. The second part of it, I asked you, is nutrition. It is important to fuel your body properly if you're going to run 4 or 5 hours a day to win. And Google told me you need 4 things: electrolytes, protein, salt, and sugar. I said, I got this figured out. The first thing I got was this fancy water that cost, $8 a bottle for my electrolytes. For protein, a Costco-sized jar of peanut butter will handle that. For salt, Lay's potato chips. They are the saltiest. And for sugar, nothing beats a Twinkie. Ladies and gentlemen, I made myself a food bet. That's right. That way I could eat on the run. Well, as the contest started coming to its conclusion, I lost a Twinkie. That's just disastrous. I was still 20,000 steps behind Jack. I couldn't believe it. I had walked and ran and ran and walked. Even when I ate my dinner, I walked and ate. I needed to win. On the last day of the contest, I decided I was going to walk all day, run all day. I got up at 5 in the morning and took off. By noon, my right knee had gone. By 3, I was basically dragging the right leg. But I wasn't. I was going to win. And by midnight, I had done 97,412 steps. And I passed out. The next morning I woke up and opened my phone to look at the app. And as it spun, I thought, is it all worth it? Is winning worth it? And when my name came up first, I said, heck yeah, it's worth it. Because I won, ladies and gentlemen. I needed a new right knee, but I won. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kelly Master. I've never tried Twinkies. Said no one ever.
Who doesn't love it?
Like bacon, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Our last speaker, and definitely in no particular order, and this is really kind of the hard part. So we had another distinguished Toastmaster. And for those of you that don't know what a distinguished Toastmaster is, probably one of the highest levels you can get. Is that correct? As a Toastmaster. And this gentleman has gone above and beyond. He's one of those that exceeds the normal parameters of what needs to be done as a Toastmaster. So, with no further ado, I'm going to introduce distinguished Toastmaster from Tyler Evening Toastmaster, Mr. Dwayne Wine.
Hello, South High Rotary. How we doing? Woohoo! It's really unfortunate that I have to call Kelly, but we're going to give it a go. All right, very interactive. I'll ask you. Thanks, hon. Have any of you ever said, show of hands, I will never fill in the blank? You know, those boundaries we set for ourselves to coexist in society? Yeah, a few hands going up. I'll give you some examples. Like, thank you. I will never blow my mortgage money at the casino. Anyone ever? You know how it goes. You know, you've paid all your bills and you start counting what's left and you go, I've only got about half. So you drive over to Shreveport, you put it all on red. Anybody try that as a financial strategy? Except Kelly? Okay, no take. All right, how about this one? I will never vote for a billionaire, reality TV celebrity for president. Anybody say that? Anybody actually vote for the guy? Because last time I checked, he won. Okay, just saying. All right, I know you'll get this one. You had one of those killer blowout weekends in Las Vegas. You know who you are. In fact, it was such a good Saturday night, you don't remember a thing. But you wake up the next day and you find the remnants of a good time in your sheets next to you. Anybody have that problem? Nobody? Okay, hold on. Equal opportunity offender. Maybe you woke up and you found these. Well, since we're all family here, I thought I would share some of my nevers. I brought my box of nevers with me. Now we're going to make this really interactive. I'm going to count to 3, and you're going to chant, I will never. Let's try it. 1, 2, 3.
I will never.
Get married. Oh my God, ever. My parents fought throughout my childhood. I would look at them and go, this is a good idea, right? So it was never going to happen. Meet my wife, Kelly. I've been married 32 consecutive years, so round of applause for that. Not to the same woman, no, my God, this is wife number 4. Yeah, each one of my marriages have lasted about 10 years apiece. Their shelf life is about 10 years. That's similar between the shelf life of Gouda cheese and that of a Twinkie. You're asking yourself, well, why does he think this outcome is going to be any different? Well, this time I've got a plan, and I've got a strategy, and I have a motto. Make marriage great again. $5 and you can have one of these too. The other thing I did differently this time is I married a Toastmaster. That's right. And you would think that would be a little bit annoying if you're talking shop all the time, but it's not. One of the things I did choose to do is on our first date, I brought our timing light with us so we could have a balanced conversation. The other thing about marrying a Toastmaster is that you can save thousands of dollars. You don't have to buy really fancy wedding rings. You just award each other best wife and best husband ribbons. best love of my life. I finally got it right after number 4, so thank you for saying yes, honey. Okay, let's do this again. 1, 2, 3.
I will never.
Never had children, that's right. Oh my God, they're so annoying and needy, and they always want something, and they're in your wallet taking money out of it all the time. You see where I'm going, don't you? Meet my 26-year-old son, Thomas. Yeah, that's right, he's a bright idea in marriage number 2. This handsome, brilliant underachiever has somehow found a way to lose 11 jobs in his very short period as an adult so far. What do we think his problem is? Well, for one, how do I want to put this? He's 420 friendly. A couple of you picked up on that. There's not any millennials here. Normally would help the boomers out. Let's just say that he participates in substances that may not be acceptable to most of society. I was living in Vegas at the time when Nevada legalized marijuana for recreational purposes, and there was not a human on the planet happier than my son Thomas. Problem is, he lived here in Texas, and I'll frown upon that big time. In fact, I think he's up for parole next month. That's a different topic, a different day. Okay, last one. 1, 2, 3.
I will never.
I will never go 3 months without getting a haircut. I mean, do you remember the pandemic? We all shut down. My hairdresser shut down. I called her. She said, I'm not coming to your house. So all I can tell you is a really bad idea to go 3 months without a haircut. That won't happen again. Here's the point, folks. We go into life with grand plans and all of these things that we want to accomplish and the boundaries we set for ourselves, but then life deals us cards. We just never know sometimes how those cards are going to land. So you have to play the best hand that you can. In fact, when I first joined Toastmasters, I remember sitting down with my first mentor, and I think I was the one whining about, oh my God, I have to give so many speeches, what am I going to talk about? And he's like, well, dude, don't you have like 3 X5s? I don't think content is going to be a problem. However, be warned, whatever you do, don't talk about sex or politics. Well, I never. Thank you. Thank you.
3 months without a haircut. I would go 3 days without a haircut. Oh, literally, haircut. All right, so you've seen a little taste about what distinguished Toastmasters go through to get into humor. We actually have several pathways and several, courses and certificates that you can go through to become a certified speaker through Toastmasters. There's all kinds of resources for you to do so. But I'm just curious, because I would really love to see if you're a former Toastmaster, or if you want to come up here and give us your funniest story or experience. It doesn't have to be long, 2-3 minutes. I wanted to open this up to give someone an opportunity to do it.
Come on, you got this.
Come on down! We got a volunteer. That is so awesome. Mr. Thompson, who else? Who else? Let's give Mr. Thompson a hand. I was telling these Toastmasters that back in the 70s, my dad was really involved with Toastmasters. He belonged to 2 clubs, and he actually was one of the 13 international directors for Toastmaster, and my mom and dad traveled all over the world with Toastmasters. But when we moved to Tyler in '78, my dad talked me into, he said, you really need to join the Toastmasters Club. So I got in a club here that met right down the street here, by Wagner Cadillac. There used to be a place called Western Sizzle. We had our Toastmasters meetings there every week. And I had to give my icebreaker, which was the first speech that you gave to the group. And it was a pretty good group of folks. It was Bob Skorkowski and Bob McRae, and several folks that were really, really, really good speakers. And I got up to give my icebreaker speech, and I got about halfway through, and the power went off. And so the microphone went dead, but Bob Skorkowski, who's still a dear friend, said, Tom, you never slowed down. You just kept going like it was just, just normal, everyday stuff. So that was my Toastmasters experience.
All right.
I'm not seeing more hands anymore. Anyone? Thank you for the Twinkie. Oh, you get a Twinkie. Anybody want a Twinkie? All right, so just really fast, I want to.
I'm not volunteering.
Come on now!
I speak in front of this group way too much. The last thing they want to hear is me talking some more.
I'll share with you.
I do. Can you talk about the relationship between Rotary and Toastmasters?
Yeah, so it was approximately shortly after the pandemic started, if I'm not mistaken, that Toastmasters International did a joint venture with Rotary International. So two of the largest nonprofit organizations joined. And so as a South Tower Rotarian, or just as a Rotarian period, they encourage you to find a club. And you can do so by going to Toastmasters.org. There's a little section up there where it says find a club, put in your zip code, and you can literally go in and find all the open clubs in your area. So you don't necessarily have to be in Thailand. You're supposed to be watching around the world in India or Africa or wherever you are. What happens is you can go into, put in your zip code or whatever you use for a zip code, and it'll give you your closest club to you. The interesting thing about the pandemic is our club, or like other clubs, were one of the first ones to go virtual. Because speaking is more than just getting up and doing it in public, in person. So we went virtual. So we have people that have come to our club from Colombia, from I think it was Washington, all around the world that had come to the club virtually and were practicing their public speaking skills. And because this pandemic has changed the whole thing, chances are very, very good that we're going to be having hybrid meetings. We did a hybrid meeting today where we were at Tyler Innovation Pipeline, and then the other members were online. We had the ones that were online on the screen, and the other ones were in person. How cool is that? So Tyler, did you want to give it a shot?
I want you all to, well, maybe next time we'll do the spotlight.
Oh, perfect. Absolutely. Yeah, we will definitely get back on that spotlight for sure. So one other thing really fast, I know you said I will never have children. For those of you that know me, I have 3 beautiful children. I didn't want to have children because I didn't want to bring anybody into this world because I had just got married in '98. And the world was going to be over in 2000. So I didn't want to have kids because I was one of those that was literally, I was not singing to Prince's song at a party like it's nobody else.
19.
I did not want to have kids. After 2000, we saw everything was okay. We decided, okay, sure, let's have a kid. We had another kid. The first kid was pretty cool because they misguided and said, hey, that was pretty easy. Let's have another one. Right? So we had another one. We had a boy and a girl. It was us 4 and no more. We were done. We were good. Problem was we didn't take precautions to keep that from happening. But 7 years later, my wife is having bad stomach pains. And she goes to the doctor and she goes, Johnny, I think I have cancer because it runs in her family. She's diabetic. She has a lot of issues. I think if I'd known that up front, I probably would have just dated her a little bit longer. But anyway, she goes to the doctor. It's recorded, right? I love you, Angie. I love you. Just in case she finds that meeting. We're going to be married 24 years in March, so we say keep it real. Keep it real. So we go. I tell her to go to the doctor. She goes to the doctor. Guess what the doctor says?
Pregnant.
Well, he says, man, we've tried everything. She's gone in. She says, doctor, I think I have cancer. They run every test for cancer, every test for, and he's like, Miss Ortiz, we can't find a thing wrong with you. He goes, but there is one other test that we'd like to go ahead and do just to eliminate that possibility. She goes, anything? Yes, doctor. Yeah, it hurts. So they go run the test. They don't tell her what the test is. And they come back, and the doctor's got this grim look on his face, and she said, I knew it. It's cancer, isn't it? Luckily, he had a good bedside humor about him. And he goes, yes, Mrs. Ortiz. It's really more of a mass. Luckily, your body will automatically pass it in about 6 months. She's still puzzled. She asks, why 6 months? He then goes in to explain to her how we are 3 months pregnant. And I was not there, unfortunately, but she tells me that whatever face she displayed caused the doctor to say, Miss Ortiz, you have to understand, children are an inheritance from the Lord. So now we have 3 beautiful children. And this 12-year-old, she's now 12 years old, she actually runs the house. And I've got other stories, but the lesson learned in that one story is we probably should have stopped at 2. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this back over. Thank you so much for reminding us. Sure.
You didn't buy tickets.
I did. You know what?
We'll let the guests draw.
You draw a ticket and read off the last 4 numbers.
Last 4 numbers. 5, 9, 3, 8.
What was it again?
Yeah.
Tom, see what is the pot up to these days?
$900 and it doesn't look like very many cards left.
Let's see how it goes there. What you got? What you got? What you got? What you got?
7 diamonds.
All right. Let's see. I forgot to mention we have a couple of birthdays this week. I didn't see Trey Patterson sneak in. His birthday is the 20th, but Jerry Terry, your birthday is June 24th. So happy early birthday. And on anniversaries, I keep on mentioning this one just because it's significant. Tom DeWitt in the month of June now celebrates 48 years with Rotary. Congratulations, Tom. And Randy Marshall is on 2 years. I'd like to thank our Toastmasters guests for being here. My husband, John, is in the Tyler Union Toastmasters. And I got to hear him do a presentation. I don't remember the club. It's not you guys' club. It's Friday night. It's a club out of Dallas or something like that where he did a presentation. And he talked about the fact that he joined Toastmasters because he has a little bit of a speech impediment. He stutters sometimes when he's uncomfortable. And I was listening to him from the other room give his presentation, and I'm so proud of him for what he's accomplished in Toastmasters. We're not here to sell you guys on Toastmasters, but if you think that you need to improve your public speaking skills for your job, for Rotary, for just anything, even thinking on the spot, especially if you're a salesperson. I'm an introvert, and when I get into an elevator with people I don't know, I'm like, oh, don't talk to me, please don't talk to me, please don't talk to me.
Why are they there?
Why are they there? So Toastmasters is really a great opportunity for you to expand those skills. Another opportunity for you is just to get involved in our Rotary Club. You see that we try to have people come up and make announcements. Sometimes they might be a little nervous about speaking in front of the group, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you become speaking in front of a group. Tom Steele, you're standing. Did you have anything else? Okay. One last thing that you probably saw go out today, Tom has sent out the dues for the next 6-month period. You can pay them online. Please make certain that you do that as quickly as you can. Are there any other announcements from the board before we adjourn? All right, well, next week's my last meeting. I hope you guys I hope you guys will be here and we'll celebrate Beth taking over. She's got a lot of great ideas and a lot of great things planned. She's brought together a great board of directors and she'll be introducing them next week. So we hope to see you then. Johnny, would you lead us in our 4-way test?
Sure. The 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First.
Is it true?
Second.
Is it fair to all concerned?